Faith was terrified, but she did not give up. She threw the glass cup on the table at Alex's face, shattering it into pieces. "Leave me alone," she shouted. Alex yelled in pain, clutching his face. Faith saw the opportunity to escape and made a run for the door. She managed to reach it and flung it open. She ran as fast as she could. Her heart was pounding in her chest. She could hear Alex's angry shouts behind her, but she did not look back. She kept running until her legs was aching and her lungs was burning. As she ran, she thought about how she had trusted Alex and how he had betrayed her. She kept on running so as to get as far as possible from his house. Faith was so tired and scared. She had been running for what felt like hours. She did not know where she was or where she was going. All she wanted was to get away from Alex and his house. As she turned to a corner, she saw a small shop. She ran towards it and collapsed at the doorstep. She was shaking with fear and cold. She wrapped her arms around her body, trying to conserve what little body heat she has left. She tried to sleep, but she could not. Instead, she remained vigilant and alert to any potential dangers lurking in the darkness. She eventually fell asleep, but again, she was waking every now and then to make sure she was safe. As night wore on, Faith started to feel a little better. She realized that she had escaped from Alex and was safe for the moment. Faith woke up at dawn before the shop owner arrived. She was still wearing the same clothes from the night before, and her face showed the stress and fatigue she felt. She knew she could not go back to Madame Tola's house. She could not cope with the dirty job and exploitations anymore. She thought about reporting Madame Tola to the police, but she remembered her threat. "I have connection with the police, and even if you report me, I won't be harmed or questioned." Faith felt trapped and unsure of what to do. As she sat on the doorstep, trying to gather her thoughts, she realized she needed a fresh start. She decided to move away from the vicinity to start a new life far from Madame Tola's grip. With a determined spirit, she boarded a bus with the little money she has in her purse to an unknown location. She hoped to find a place where she could hustle for money legitimately and leave her past behind. As the bus drove away, Faith felt a mix of emotions: fear, freedom, and uncertainty. On dropping from the bus, Faith's eyes scanned the unfamiliar surroundings. Her heart raced with anxiety. She had no idea where she was or where she would be staying. The first day was tough, and she felt like a small fish in a big pond. As night began to fall, Faith's worry grew. She had no place to call her own, no bed to sleep in. As she wandered the street, her eyelids grew heavy and her body ached from the day's struggles. Eventually, she found herself in front of a cozy-looking house, and exhaustion took over. She collapsed onto the porch, not caring that it was someone else's property. Later that night, a young man named Ade arrived home from work, exhausted. As he approached his house, he noticed a figure sleeping on his porch. He approached Faith gently, not wanting to startle her. "Hey, wake up," Ade said softly, while shaking Faith's shoulder. "What are you doing here? Why are you sleeping in front of my house?" Faith rubbed her eyes, disoriented, and sat up slowly. I don't know," she stammered. "I just did not have where else to go." Ade's expression softened and he nodded sympathetically. "Come on, you can't sleep here on the porch. Come inside at least for tonight." Faith was hesitant to enter Ade's house. Just a few nights ago, she had narrowly escaped Alex's clutches, and now she was about to enter another stranger's home. But she was too cold and tired to resist Ade's kindness. Ade seemed to sense her hesitation and offered a reassuring smile. "Hey, you are safe here. I promise. Just get some rest and we can talk in the morning." She went inside and Ade showed her to a cozy guest room. The bed looked so inviting. Faith could not remember the last time she slept in a real bed. "Thanks," she whispered, already feeling sleepy. Ade smiled and handed her a blanket. "Get some rest, we will talk in the morning." Faith nodded and snuggled under the blanket. She felt a sense of relief wash over her. Maybe she had found a safe haven. As she drifted off to sleep, Faith could not shake off the feeling that she was taking a risk, but for now, she was too tired to care. She surrendered to the comfort of the bed, hoping that tomorrow would bring better days. Faith woke up to the warmth of the sun peeking through the window. She stretched and yawned, feeling refreshed after a good night's sleep. Ade was already up and about, and the aroma of breakfast flowed from the kitchen. "Good morning," Ade said with a smile. "How did you sleep?" Faith returned the smile. "I slept well, thanks. Your bed is really comfortable." Ade chuckled, glad to hear that. "Come and join me for breakfast and we can talk." Over breakfast, Ade asked about Faith. She hesitated at first, unsure of how much to reveal, but there was something kind and genuine about Ade that put her at ease. "My name is Faith," she began. "I am 15 years old. I have been through a lot. My family died in a fire outbreak, and I was left alone in the village. Madam Tola brought me to Lagos, promising to enroll me in school and give me a better life, but she did not keep to her promise." Ade's eyes widened in surprise. 15? Wow, I thought you were older. I am sorry to hear about your family, Faith. That must have been really tough for you." Faith nodded, feeling a lump in her throat. She did not disclose the part about Madam Tola taking them to junctions at night in search of men to pick them up. She did not want Ade to think less of her or withdraw his kindness. "I have been trying to make ends meet, but it is hard," Faith continued. "I don't know what I would have done if you had not helped me last night. You are safe now, Faith. You can stay here with me until we figure out what to do next." Faith's eyes welled up with tears. No one had been this kind to her in a long time. Ade also opened up to Faith about his family. He told her that he has a wife and one son who are currently living in the United Kingdom. Faith's eyes widened in surprise and she exclaimed. She said, "Oh, I hope I won't be causing any problem being here with you." Ade chuckled and waved his hand dismissively. No problem at all, Faith. My wife is unproblematic and she will surely understand. I will tell her everything that has happened and she will be happy to know that I am just helping you." Faith felt a wave of relief wash over her. "Thank you, Ade. This means a lot to me." Ade smiled and continued. "I have plans for you. I want to enroll you in a secondary school to write your final year exam, and if you do well, I promise to send you to the university." Faith's eyes sparkled with joy, and she could not stop thanking Ade. She felt a sense of gratitude and happiness wash over her. She knew she had found a true friend and a benefactor in Ade. On the following Monday morning, Ade took Faith to a nearby secondary school to enroll her. She was nervous but excited to start this new chapter of her life. At the school, she passed the screening test and she was directly placed in the penultimate class, just a few months away from writing her final secondary school exam. Despite being away from school for a while, Faith's love for reading had never wavered. She had always made it a point to read every chance she got, even at night when everyone else was asleep. Ade was impressed by her dedication and motivation. He once told her, "Faith, you are truly a remarkable young woman. I have no doubt you will excel in school and make a better life for yourself." Faith blushed and thanked Ade for his kind words. She was determined to make him proud and prove that she was worthy of his support. Despite her busy school schedule, Faith still made time to help with the basic chores at Ade's house. She would sweep, clean, wash plates and dishes, and even cook for Ade in the morning before he went to work. Ade always thanked her and told her how much he appreciated her for help. Finally, the day of the final year exam arrived. Faith was nervous but confident. She had studied hard and was ready to face whatever challenges come her way. When the results were released, Faith was overjoyed to see that she had passed with flying colors. Ade was wowed by her performance and immediately started making plans for her university journey. Faith, I am very proud of you. You are going to do great things, he said. On one fateful day, Ade's wife Bimpe and their son Nathan arrived home for vacation, and the house was filled with excitement and joy. Bimpe was warm and welcoming, and Faith immediately felt at ease with her. Bimpe was impressed with Faith's helpful nature and how she always did the chores without being asked. She also appreciated how Faith helped her in the kitchen, learning new recipes and cooking techniques. The two women quickly formed a strong bond, and Bimpe took Faith under her wing, treating her like a younger sister. When Faith received news that she had been admitted to study law at the University of Lagos, the house erupted in joy. Bimpe was over the moon with excitement, and Ade beamed with pride. "This is a dream come true for me," Faith said with tears of joy streaming down her face. Bimpe took Faith on a shopping spree to get new clothes for school, and Faith felt like a princess, trying on different outfits and shoes. "You deserve it, dear. You've worked hard, and we are all proud of you," Bimpe said. As they shopped, Bimpe shared stories about her own university days, and Faith listened with wide eyes, feeling grateful for the mentorship and guidance. When they returned home, Ade had a surprise celebration dinner planned, complete with Faith's favorite food and a custom-made cake. The house was filled with laughter and love, and Faith felt grateful to have found a second family with Ade and Bimpe. It was on Nathan's 6th birthday, and everything was going in full swing when Faith went to open the gate for a late arriving guest. She was shocked to see Madam Tola, the woman who had taken her from her village and failed to fulfill her promises, standing in front of the gate. Madam Tola is Bimpe's mother, which means she is the birthday boy's grandmother. Faith started shaking, knowing that her stay with Ade is probably short-lived now. Madam Tola was also surprised, but she quickly composed herself like nothing was wrong. During the birthday party, she asked Ade about the new girl in the house, acting like she does not know her before. And when Ade explained how he got to meet her and his intentions towards her, Madam Tola replied with a subtle hint of disapproval. After the party, Madam Tola called Bimpe aside and began spinning a web of deceit. She told Bimpe her daughter a fake story about a dream she had. She said, "I had a dream that your husband married a young lady and sent you and Nathan packing." Bimpe listened closely, not knowing that what her mother was saying is just a cooked up lie. Madam Tola continued her story. She said, "And guess what? The little girl he married in that dream looks so much like the new girl I'm seeing in your house currently." Bimpe believed her mother, and soon Madam Tola's words would set off a chain reaction that would change everything. As night went on, Faith felt a growing unease. She started noticing Bimpe's strange behavior towards her. She did not know about what Madam Tola has done, but she knew her happiness was about to be ruined. That same night, Bimpe confronted her husband, Ade, in the bedroom. "Ade, who is Faith to you?" she demanded with a low and suspicious voice. Ade sighed and told her the truth, that Faith was a young girl he had taken in to help her due to the challenges she was facing. But Bimpe was not having it. She said, Why would you bring her to live with us? But you can just enroll her in a school and leave her to live elsewhere. Or you could have also given her money to do something with it instead of making her to come live with us. Bimpe nagged all night with her voice raising. What is so special about her? Ade tried to calm her down, but Bimpe would not listen. You are cheating on me with her. Are you not doing that? She accused him, with her eyes flashing with anger. Ade shouted at her. How could you even think that? I am trying to help this girl, not cheat on you. But Bimpe just wouldn't accept it. She kept on nagging and questioning Ade until he finally shut her up with a stern warning. Things were not the same after that. The tension in the house grew thicker and the weight of Madame Tola's lies was bearing down on Faith. Madame Tola refused to leave after the birthday party, and the next day she announced that she would be staying indefinitely. Faith was terrified. One day, Madame Tola confronted Faith in the kitchen. Listen girl, she eased. You better pack your bags and leave this home before I make it unbearable for you. And again, if you try to reveal my secrets to anyone here, you will surely regret your actions. Faith knelt down and started crying, begging Madame Tola to have mercy on her. But Madame Tola just laughed. Do what I say or face the consequences, she spat, turning on her heel and leaving Faith in tears. The tension in the house continued to simmer, with Bimpe growing more furious every day. Ade, however, did not stop taking care of Faith, and this added more fuel to the fire. Madame Tola noticed that Faith won't leave that house willingly, so she planned to implicate her. She snuck into Bimpe's room and stole her gold necklace, then carefully placed it in Faith's bag. Days passed and Bimpe could not find her necklace anywhere. She searched every nook and cranny, but it was nowhere to be found. Madame Tola noticed her daughter's distress and she suggested that Faith might be the thief. She said she once saw her checking the jewelry box and there are possibilities that she stole it. Search her bag, she said to Bimpe with her voice dripping with malice. Bimpe hesitated at first, but Madame Tola's insinuations had already planted a seed of doubt in her mind. She stormed into Faith's room, demanding that she brings her bag. Faith, you thief, Bimpe shouted. I know you stole my gold necklace. Faith trembled and replied, I did not steal anything, ma. But before she could even defend herself, Bimpe had already poured everything in the bag on the floor, and she found the necklace there. The room fell silent, with all eyes fixed on Faith. Faith shook her head with tears streaming down her face. I didn't do it, ma, I swear. Ade tried to intervene, but Bimpe would not listen. Instead, she said, Hey, Mr. Man, don't even try to say anything. You are trying to defend your lover, right? She shouted at him. Madame Tola smiled gently, knowing fully that her plan had worked to perfection. But Faith's eye narrowed. Her mind was racing with suspicion. She knew she did not steal the necklace, but who did? Madame Tola shouted and laughed with her eyes gleaming with malice. Pack your bag, Faith. You are a thief and we don't want that here. Bimpe supported her mother. Yes, leave our house. We don't need someone like you here. Ade looked on with an helpless expression. Faith looked on with her eyes flashing with courage. You all should keep quiet, Faith shouted. I know a day like this would surely come, and I would be left with no choice than to spill this secret. I know everything happening here today is perpetrated by this wicked woman called Madame Tola. You brought me to Lagos from the village. You promised to enroll me in school, but instead you used me for chores and made me do dirty jobs for money. You made me go home with different men at night just to make money for you. Madame Tola's smile faded and she took a step back. She was stammering and failed to utter a single word clearly. Faith continued. There are other young girls like me in your house, suffering the same fate. I managed to escape, not knowing that I will get to set my eyes on you again. I knew you would try to send me away when you found out I was here. The room erupted in chaos, with everyone talking at once. Bimpe, who is our daughter, was dumbfounded and did not know what to say. Madam Tola looked guilty and shocked. She could not defend herself, and her actions showed she was guilty. Her daughter Bimpe was crying, and she told her, "Ha, no wonder you were trying to ruin my marriage with cheap lies." Madam Tola was agitated and scared. She stuttered and could not find the right words. Bimpe was crying and she kept on repeating, "Mommy, how could you be doing something like this?" Immediately, Ade pulled out his phone and called the police. "Hello, I want to report a case of human trafficking," he said firmly, without minding if she was her mother-in-law or not. The police arrived soon after, and Madam Tola was taken away. As the police took her away, Faith felt a sense of relief wash over her. She had finally escaped the clutches of the woman who wanted to ruin her life. Bimpe's expression softened as she looked at Faith. She finally understood the pain and hurt her mother had caused. She walked over to Faith and enveloped her in a warm hug. She whispered, "I am sorry. I had no idea my mother was treating you like this. You are part of our family and we love you." Ade joined in, wrapping his arms around Bimpe and Faith. "We are in this together, always," he said. "You are safe now, Faith. We've got you." Faith's tears flowed freely as she hugged them back. For the first time in a few months, she felt a sense of belonging and love. They continued living together and their bond grew stronger than ever. Ade kept to his promise and Faith resumed her studies at the University of Lagos a few weeks later. He made sure she had everything she needed. Years went by and Faith graduated with honors. She never forgot the love and support Ade and Bimpe showed her during her darkest days. They remained a happy family, a testament to the power of love and forgiveness. And as for Madam Tola, she learned her lesson and spent the rest of her days making amends for her past mistakes. If you enjoyed this story, kindly like, comment and subscribe to Moonlight Tales by Ayo to get more amazing tales like this. Stay blessed.